And President Emmanuel Macron is the first French president to win a second term in decades. On Sunday, Macron beating populist rival Marine Le Pen. Macron taking home 59% of the country's vote in that runoff election. Le Pen taking 41% of votes, which is much higher than many expected. Many politicians are relieved that Le Pen lost because of the anti-European Union policies that she reportedly was pushing. She criticized sanctions on Russia for its war in Ukraine. Let's break all this down. We're going to talk about the significance of this election. We have Dalal Mawad joining us, a journalist working in Paris. Thank you so much, Dalal, for being with us. What exactly does this election and its results signal for not just France, but Europe?
Well, Adrian, this re-election of President Emmanuel Macron is sending a message of relief and reassurance, at least, as you said, not just in France, but on the European continent, in the European Union. European leaders were very quick last night to congratulate President Macron, starting with the German Chancellor Olaf Scholz, but also today President Zelensky from Ukraine said that Macron was a real friend of Ukraine. The re-election of Macron means, of course, more European integration. As you rightly mentioned, Marine Le Pen, his opponent, has anti-Europe policies. At some point wanted to get France out of the EU. Today she's talking about changing the way things function and work in the European Union. And especially that there's an ongoing war in Ukraine. The re-election of Macron is very reassuring. France has been playing a very important role in the mediation in the conflict. President Macron himself tried to prevent the war and is trying to stop it. He's sending a lot of support to Ukraine, weapons, so more support to Ukraine, more sanctions on Russia are expected. So really stability and continuation here and a lot of reassurance with his re-election, Adrian.
You know, one thing that I think a lot of people were, again, shocked by is how well Le Pen did in the polls, even though some of her policies, some of what she believed for her platform was questionable. It really did wake up some of the electorate there in France. Can you talk about how she connected with voters in a way that Macron wasn't?
Yeah, this is definitely unprecedented for the far right here in France. Gaining more than 40% of the vote is something we have not seen before. The far right is now a mainstream movement, a mainstream party in France politics, and that is worrying for a lot of people. She herself last night said that, you know, her loss is actually a victory for her party and what it stands for. Le Pen in the past few years has done a few things. One of them is trying to portray a more moderate picture of her party. She renamed it. She inherits the far-right party from her father, but she changed the name. She was trying to give a more moderate image, as I said, not touching so much upon her anti-immigration issues or, you know, as I said, she changed her position towards the European Union, saying she doesn't want to get out of the European Union, but wants to change the way things are doing. And most importantly, leaving this aside, she focused a lot on the economy. She focused on soaring prices, on inflation, on purchasing power, and this was the top priority of French voters. She heavily campaigned on the economy when President Macron was actually busy with the war in Ukraine and with his mediation role at the European and international level. She really reached out to the working class, to people who were struggling after the pandemic, and this is how she won a lot of voters. She gained popularity in this campaign, you know, something that we haven't seen before, and showing that she's more moderate, although I'll tell you that in the core, her political program hasn't really changed. But portraying this more moderate image meant that she could also tap into the traditional right in France, because the traditional French right party is almost absent or is very weak today, Adrian.
Yes, well, but certainly their voices heard along with that chorus of over 40% of the vote. Thank you, Dalal, for being with us all the way from Paris this morning. We appreciate it. Still ahead, Daredevil. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to click on the red subscribe button below so you can get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.